So I went and decided to purchase a spares car. I realised that spares cars were only going for about $500 Australian, and to get a whole car, I could then swap out the parts that I thought might be the problem with the issue. So I found someone down in Canberra, and they were selling a car for $500, and I went down and picked it up. Went with the old man, towed it back up with the trusty Ranger, and then started stripping out the parts. So I started by taking out the dashboard. I was really after the main wiring loom. That was our first priority and the main part that I wanted. I knew that this car started and ran, so I assumed the wiring loom was all intact, and considering the wiring loom in the rally car had been burnt up, and I did try to fix it just to make sure putting this wiring loom from this car, this would tell me whether it was the wiring loom or not. So that was the first part that I wanted out of this car. The spares part that I've got here was another twin cam. It was a 1998. I got this so that I made sure that it was the same wiring loom, and so also it was just the same as swapping out on the rally car. So I got cracking on that, took out the main loom, and then tried to salvage as many other parts as I could. The place where I had the car was an outdoor shed. I had to jack up the car because it was uneven service to get to the O2 sensor cable here. It made the work a bit dirty and tough, but nonetheless got the loom out. So finally got the wiring loom, went back home, put it into the rally car. Unfortunately that didn't do the trick, so I went back up to the spares parts car and tried to take out and salvage as many parts from that as I could. Again, take it back to the rally car, put it in and see if that worked. So here I start taking out a lot of the sensors. I started taking out throttle body position sensor. I even went ahead and took out the injectors. I was just trying to salvage as many parts as I could, swap them into the rally car and see if any of those sensors, injectors, etc. were the problem. I even went ahead and started to take out the battery cables through the starter motor, just to make sure that even that I was trying to dig deep and go through as many parts as I could to see if by any chance that was what was causing the problem, because at this point I was really running out of ideas of what the problem could have been and what the solution could be. So I went ahead and salvaged as much as I could. As you can see here, I got into the car again. I actually decided to take out the O2 sensor cable. I thought, let's just give that a go and see if I swap that into the rally car and see if that worked. Obviously, I did put in a new O2 sensor cable on the rally car to see if that fixed it, and that didn't do the trick. But At this point, as I said, I'm trying out all my options. Same thing again, went back home with these parts that I salvaged off the spare parts car, started putting them back on the rally car, ran them again, tried to see if that did the trick, tried out all these new sensors, or the sensors from the spare parts car, tried out the injectors, swapping out the injectors. Unfortunately, as you've seen soon, this didn't feel great, and the car was still not wanting to budge, so I was back to the drawing board. So obviously, as I was salvaging all the parts out from the spare parts car, I realised that the fuel pump was one of those parts that I should be salvaging out. So I decided to take the fuel pump out of the spare parts car, which a little hint of what's about to come may or may not have been the problem. So I got the fuel pump out of the spare parts car and went ahead and put it into the rally car. Back when I tested the fuel pump to see whether that was the issue when the rally car had its first problems, I tested it and was told to check whether there was fuel coming out at the fuel filter, which there was, but it was trickling out. Obviously I'm learning as I'm going, building and working on cars, and I assumed that meant the fuel pump was working, but obviously the injectors and the lines need pressure to build up and push through into the cylinders, so it should have been spraying out the top of the fuel filter, which I didn't know. So lesson learned was that fuel should have a lot more fuel pressure, and if it's not got that much fuel pressure, maybe go back and check if the pump's working. So I threw in the new pump and bingo, car started. Lesson learned, and a lot of wasted hours because of it, but you've got to learn at some point. As you can see, I was pretty stoked to finally start the car after about 18 months of trying to fix it. I did feel like a bit of an idiot because it was such an easy fix all that time, but it's all part of the learning phase, and I actually felt glad that I had learned something like that. It's all part of me growing as a person working on rally cars.